This reel right here, it can either be a photographer's best friend or their worst enemy. Let's take a look at some tips today to see how we can make this reel as friendly as possible. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Hamilton and I take a look at film photography all the way from shooting to cameras to developing in your own darkroom, all the things to make life a lot easier for you if you're a film photographer. Today we're going to be looking at how to get film onto your reel for your tank developing. If you guys haven't seen my video on how to develop your film at home in a tank, you can follow the link there. This is the first and probably one of the hardest steps of it, so we're going to be taking a look at how to do that properly and as with little frustration as possible. So I thought it would make a good video to do some hands-on. We're going to do an overhead shot and you can see exactly the process that I use to make sure that when I'm in the dark, putting my film on this thing, it's as easy as possible because it can be a little frustrating. You're going to be in the dark room, you're going to be trying to get your film on there. Again, just imagine doing this with your eyes closed, basically, because it's going to be pitch black in there and it is tricky. The one main tip I have though is don't get frustrated. If you get frustrated while you try to load your film on this reel, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna be crinkling the film, you might be tearing it. You really can't get frustrated. If you find yourself getting frustrated, all you have to do is put it in the developing tank, close the lid, take a break, come back and try again. But the main tip I have today, do not get frustrated when you're trying to load your film onto this reel. So let's go ahead and get started. Thanks. All right, so here we are. This is our reel. It looks pretty, easy to use, and it really is. There's not anything too crazy about it. I think the hardest thing about it is doing this in the dark, right? So you need to load film and put it on this sort of ridge right here, and you move it forward like that. That's the premise, right? Film goes here, you slide it through, you advance it with this until all the film gets put on the reel, and then you drop it into your tank. But again, the hardest thing is that you're doing this in the dark. So let me go over a few tips, right? The first thing is that we're going to be using some film backing for this. This came off a roll of 120. I was thinking about using some actual film, but I couldn't do it, guys. I couldn't waste film for this. I love you guys, but it would break my heart to open up a 120 film and just, expose it to light, not shoot anything on it. So we're gonna use this instead, and this should approximate. So this is basically what comes on the back of your film. When you're in the dark and you first take out your film, it'll be on a spool. You take it off the spool, your film will be attached to this with some tape. You unwind it all the way out by yourself, and you'll remove the film from this because it'll be taped at the end. So you just basically take off the film and you'll have your film in your hand. The next thing you want to do is you take your film and right here. So again, you're going to be doing this in the dark. You're going to be feeling for these ridges. There's these triangle shapes right here, like half triangles I should say, right here, and you feel for them, right? That's what you want to feel. You feel these little nubs, and that lets me know where to start. And again, this is in the dark. So I have this side moves back and forth. I have this all the way back. These are lined up. The next thing I'm going to do, and this is going to be kind of difficult to do while I'm filming, but we're going to try, is you get your film and you line it up. And again, this trick that I like to do is I take my left hand is not my dominant, my right's my dominant. So I take my left finger, my ring finger, and I put it through the hole of the film, and it helps me kind of keep it in line, right? So if you can look here, and again, this is a weird sort of technique, it's a little tip, but if you look here, my ring finger is inside the film here, and I'm taking it with my right hand. I feel these, and I lead it through these, like this, and there's these ball bearings here, over the ball bearings, like that. And I know it's in there because it feels in there. When I'm in the dark, I'm rubbing my hand here, I'm like, all right, it's in here, and then I start rolling. And again, the whole time, my finger, of the ring finger, if you guys can see, is in this film, and it's allowing me to move forward. Now this isn't film, so it's gonna get hitched up here, as you can see, but that's the idea. And if you mess up, you just take it off and you start over again. So that's my technique. I think it's a lot more difficult with film itself because it kind of comes back on you. So as soon as you let go of it, it just like snaps back. And so having your ring finger sort of inside the spool itself keeps it from snapping back. Again, this is an approximation because it's not nearly as sturdy as the film. So the thing is, you want to keep this film away from your reel, and that's why I have my finger here, because if I start moving it forward and the spool is against it, it's just going to mess it up. So you it's a weird technique. You keep your finger and your film away from this while you're advancing forward, and it'll push it on until it's all on there. The hardest part about this is just that first on, because when I first started this, I would always get stuck. I would get it underneath these two nubs right here, these two half triangles. I would get it under these two nubs, and then I would just mess up the ball bearing parts. So you just gotta make sure in the dark, as your finger's in this, to kind of lead it over those ball bearings, because that's really what pushes it forward, right? And then you do your movement here, and it starts going. And if we had film, again, this would work. So this is not gonna work on this. It's just too flimsy. It's not as sturdy as film, so it just kind of bends. You would do it all the way around with your finger and your film away from this reel, all the way around, constantly like that. And you're feeling the tug on your finger, but you're keeping it away. And then it just comes off and it hits the back of this. I do it once more and you're done. Your film will be on the reel. You can put it in the canister and you're good to go. Hopefully that helps. Again, I'm sorry I don't have film, but again, I couldn't do it, guys. I could not waste a roll of film. The photographer in me, it just kills me. So that's kind of the premise. The trickiest part, at least for me, is just the beginning. Getting it under these and over the ball bearings here. And then after that, you just kind of move forward like that. So that's the way I do it. That's the technique that I use. It's worked for me. I think the most important thing is finding the technique that works for you. You might have a different technique. You might do something weird with this. Like I use my ring finger. Maybe I don't even know. I wouldn't even know what you could do. The ring finger works for me. It's a weird process, guys. It really is. And when you do it for the first time and you're in the dark, it is a little scary. It's okay to be scared. I would probably suggest doing this with a roll that you don't love. Maybe just a fun roll that you go out and mess around with. Use that roll first. Don't do this with something where you went to someone's, where you went to your great-grandmother's 100th birthday party and took photos of her. Don't do it with that. Do it with a fun roll. Get used to it, because the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But that first time you do it, when you're in the dark, it is a little stressful. Take a breath, guys. Take a breath, leave the dark room, come back. You don't have to get it. If you're not getting it right away, just take that breath. But get comfortable with this. Close your eyes, just pick it up and get comfortable with it. And just move it. That's all there is to it. It's not difficult once you have your hand positioning. And again, the film will be backed up against this. You peel it off. It'll be literally pulled with the tape, and you just pull the tape off of the film. So it's really not bad, guys. If you have any questions about that, hopefully I explained this well. I know it's a little bit weird with just the backing and not the actual film, but hopefully I explained it well. If you have any questions, concerns, please feel free to drop them in the comment below and I can help you out. But good luck and happy filming.